What's good, my fellow Olympians? It's your boy, God See All. Welcome to Mount Olympus Gaming. And today's video, we're gonna go over 7 things that I've noticed on day 1 of the beta. And yeah, man, let's get right into it. First thing we're gonna speak about today is movement. The movement feels good in my opinion. Forward dashing, wave dashing. Now, what I want to get into off the top is that wave dashing, the timing is slightly different. I never played MK9, and I know a lot of other pro players and people in the FGC mentioned that it has the wave dash or the wave canceling like MK9. I never played MK9. I started playing competitively in MK11 and halfway into the game's life. It has a different learning curve. That's something I can tell you if you want to try the wave dash. I necessarily didn't get into it too much. I was just more focusing on just the walk speed going forward and the walk speed going back. But it felt good. I have no complaints about it. I didn't feel like it was extremely slow at all. So yeah, movement feels good. The second thing I want to get into is your inputs. So you have a lot more time to buffer your inputs than you think. And something else I've noticed is that you can actually input your strings, whether you like to buffer the entire string or slightly wait, then continue. The inputs in MK1 accommodates both styles. Another thing I noticed, so since the beta, day 1 of the beta, I've been playing Kitana, and Kitana has a dial-in string, and the string is called the comeback, and the buttons are 2, 4, 1, 2. And I was kind of toying around with it at first. I was inputting it the same way how, for those of you who played MK11 would, with Fujin strings, right? And you don't have to do that in this game. The input windows is a lot more forgiving. With dial-in strings, historically, you have to buffer them before a certain time so that the rest of the string can come out. And the dial-in string so far that I'm noticing in Mortal Kombat 1 is that you have a lot more time. You don't necessarily need to, do it with the first hit and buffer the entire thing in 2 seconds. You can literally do it at a casually slow pace and it will still come out. And I think that's because the overall array of the game, it's weird because it's like slow but fast at the same time. When I say slow, it's just the inputs make it feel slow, but what's happening on screen is actually pretty fast. So yeah, with inputs, you definitely have a lot more input window timing. That's something I noticed off the bat, and I think it's really good. So let's get into the third thing. The third topic I want to discuss is up blocking. So for those of you who's not familiar, up blocking is a new mechanic that MK1 introduced, which is when you're in a block state, you hold the block button, then you tap and hold up. Your character does a different animation to accommodate an overhead move. Now, I did not use this move at all when I was playing ranked matches. When I was playing matches against the computer, I was trying to see if I can land it, but it definitely will have its own learning curve. And when the game fully releases, I think more people will, understand it and actually dive deep into it. But so far, since I've been playing ranked matches, I have not used up blocking at all. Now, one thing I did notice is that up blocking, from the time you tap up, it literally takes 1 second and then you go back into the block animation. Now, I tried tapping block immediately after that animation was done, and you can't. So you have to wait an additional second before you can tap it again. Now, for those of you who are casual players, you may be saying, hey, it's just 1 second, it's not that bad. But coming from a more competitive mindset or competitive outlook, it's pretty long and it could get you punished. So that is something that you really have to be mindful and really make a hard read, in my opinion. The only time I believe that you may use it is in maybe in combo strings when you're getting block pressure and you know that your opponent's move ends in an overhead. Then you can use it in that sense. If you know what's going to happen, if you feel like they're going to complete the string. But trying to catch up blocking and jump ins is actually more difficult than you think. And I'm just not even trying to at this point. I may get into it a little bit later in the beta. But as of right now with day one, it does not cross my mind when people jump. I just simply tap block. All right, so the next topic we're going to get into is punishing. So punishing in this game feels good. That's another thing, that it just feels really good. And I literally will compare it to Street Fighter 6. So in Street Fighter 6, when you get that hit confirm and you're going into your combo, you know you're going to get that combo. I get the same feeling playing Mortal Kombat 1. So when I notice that my opponent did something that's like totally unsafe and I do some of my combo strings, I know I'm going to punish him. Now, for those who don't know, Mortal Kombat has reintroduced the breaker system. And something that I've noticed in playing about 20 or so ranked matches is that people don't use it as much as you think. So when you actually get a confirm or you get that whiff punish and you're getting your combos, 90% of the time, you're going to do your combos uninterrupted. The only way it's going to become interrupted is if you drop your combos. But most of the time, they can't activate their cameos, so that eliminates that little headache there. No one can, when you're getting juggled in a combo, your cameo cannot come out. So that's one headache gone. Number two, not all the time you're going to have 3 bars. And number 3, what I've noticed is also people tend to use their bars when they're under 40% or 30% health, or when they have fatal blow health. That's when you'll notice that someone is going to break. Yeah, but punishing really feels good in this game. And I really compare it to Street Fighter 6. Like, if somebody hits you, you're going to feel it. All right, let's get into the next topic. The next topic I want to discuss is the character's move list. So I've been playing Katana. I kind of gravitated towards her, but I spent about 30 minutes playing each character, just getting, looking at their frame data, looking at their moves and the distances and things like that. And, the different combo strings that they have. And one thing I will say is that the characters' move lists are simple, but they're effective. Every character feels complete. Let me just start off by saying that. The characters in the beta so far feel very complete. If you did not use your cameo, you can still hold your own. But I do notice that the cameos make every character's move list their move list more fun and feel more OP. At first, like I said, coming from MK11 and Street Fighter, you guys kind of used to just with the 1v1. We're not really used to like an assist base, unless you play other titles like Dragon Ball Z Fighters. But I've never got into those titles. So the first match or two, I did not even use my cameo. I just wanted to get a feel of my character, and I felt good. Honestly, I honestly kind of forgot about the cameo button when I was just like playing with the character, because that's how much fun I was having. But in certain situations where I was saying to myself, damn man, I really wanted to get this guy, I really wanted to kill him or add a little bit more, that's when it dawned on me that I have a cameo. And then when I started dabbling in the cameos, the 2 cameos I started dabbling with was Sonya Blade and Jax. And when you really start dabbling in them, that to me adds another level of fun, but you also get a sense of feeling OP. And honestly, when you watch other pro players in the community and how they do long juggle combos, you say to yourself like, wow, that looks so complex. You can look like a professional player juggling someone in the air with half the button restrictions or half that precise timing. That's something I noticed immediately. We're going to go into the next topic. The next topic I noticed was the flow of the game. So far, from playing the CPU and playing matches online, something I noticed was that the flow of the game is going to flow like this, in my opinion: reacting and knowledge of frame data. So in MK1 and playing different matchups such as Sub-Zero, I was constantly getting caught by Sub-Zero's back too, which is that the move where he creates the head that's frozen over, and it's an overhead that goes into a pop-up. Now the reason why I was getting that, because I'm so accustomed to crouch blocking, right? So, but when I got used to that and started realizing that my opponent is kind of abusing it, then it didn't happen as much. Then it became more fair. So that's something else. The knowledge of frame data, it is important if you want to play this game competitively. But if you want to play casually, you can also just look at the visual cues. I think the game does a real good job at visualizing what moves are unsafe. So even though you may not necessarily know the exact frame data, like you may not know, like, okay, when Sub-Zero does his iceborne on block, it's like, for example, it's like negative like 32, right? You may not know the exact amount, but when it happens on screen, you will have a good idea that, hey, he throws that move out again, I think I could full punish combo him. So that's something I notice about the flow of the game. And I see it more being reacting to what your opponent is doing and also being knowledgeable about the frame data. And then to bring it to our last point, I want to speak about the last thing to me that's the most important, the visuals. This game looks beautiful. From seeing people's special moves and the colors and the stages and even the shadows and how everything interacts, it's just visually beautiful to look at. Coming off of Street Fighter 6 again, Street Fighter 6, a very beautiful game. Really, I still play that game. I think I'm going to be getting into that game and sticking with it. And coming off of MK11, which is also a very visually beautiful game, this does take it to another level. At first, when you're observing the gameplay, you may think it's like, you know, kiddish or anime-ish, but it's not that. When you actually boot up this game, you will realize that this game is beautiful. And yeah, that will about wrap it up. So what I want to say, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please drop a like, subscribe to your boy, and we're going to be dropping more videos like this in the next couple of days. See ya.